During my mid to late 20s, I went through a time in my life called deconstruction. And what that is basically, I was basically examining everything that I believed in my life. And it wasn't just religion, it was social, it was political, it was economic beliefs that I had. Everything that I kind of held dear to me and everything that I kind of made part of my identity, I kind of questioned it. I had a traumatic moment in my life and I started to question exactly what did I know? And not only what did I know, what did I believe? And exactly why did I believe it? Who taught me these things? Is there any evidence or any good reason or any good arguments to actually believe the things that I thought? Now, while it was social and political as well, the religious one was the biggest part. I grew up Christian. My father is a pastor. My mother prayed for us every day, put that oil on our head with the cross. You know, Caribbean, African, and African Americans, y'all know about that. we uh we get that from our mamas all the time. So around that time, when I went through a series of reevaluating all those things and how I would come out the other end, I wasn't sure what would happen. I wasn't sure how I would come out on the other end because I wasn't sure if I believed this stuff anymore. Now, on the other end, I did come out to the fact that I didn't believe it anymore because I felt I didn't have a good reason. And once I came into realization that this is not something I believe anymore, I had to reevaluate exactly how do I find meaning in life now? How do I find purpose and direction in life now? Because for over half my life at that point, meaning, purpose, and direction was all based on my Christianity. It was all based on the Bible. That's what it was based on. But since I'm not there anymore, what exactly do I find meaning in then? And being a person who grew up religious, a lot of times these answers are you never think to look internally in yourself. You never think to look inward of making my own meaning, making my own purpose, making my own direction, making my own morals. You don't usually look internally because you grew up religious your entire life. For your whole life, all you heard was these answers come from outside of you. They don't come from within. So during that journey, um, I did go through the angry atheist stage. I did go through that, but I think a little bit part of my anxiousness and my anger was the fact that I don't have that direction anymore. I don't have that purpose anymore. The purpose of spreading the good word. I don't believe in the good word anymore, so I don't have that purpose. The purpose of being here to worship the Almighty. I don't believe there's an Almighty anymore, so I had no reason to worship. So it was really one of those tough times of looking at everything else to try to find a meaning somewhere. And it got to the point where I will look for these things and I'll be like, there's got to be meaning in this or meaning in that. But as life progressed, as life moved on, I would find that a lot of those things were basically pointless. For example, I told you I went through the angry atheist stage. So at that point, my entire my entire direction in life was basically taking my anger out on people who still believed, for absolutely no reason. For absolutely no reason, you know. But that was my entire drive until I realized that, I'm an angry little shit. Like, what's the point of doing all that? Why can't I just leave people alone? They have their peace in what they believe. Why am I not just leaving them alone? Then when I found out that was pointless, I kind of went through the red pill stage. I wasn't a full on, you know, fresh and fitter Kevin Samuelite. I wasn't one of those guys, but I was in that space a lot because I was a really shy person. So I wanted to learn how to talk to women. I wanted to learn how to dress better. I wanted to learn how to, for lack of a better term, get women, basically. I want to learn that. And these spaces, again, they just made me angry. They just made me angry at women, because I had to find out that you just don't, they don't just drop their panties because you're nice to them. That's not how it works. You feel me? So I went through that stage. And then I went through the stage of trying to find purpose and meaning in basically being with as many people as possible. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean that just having people in my life that I can call and hang out with, and I could just be around. If they're hanging out somewhere, I could just be around them. I decided to put my meaning into that just by being around people, being that person that knows everyone, being the person that's always in the mix, being the popular guy. I wanted that to be my meaning. But then I went through a phase where I realized something. Those type of relationships that you have with people, it gets built up over time. If I met you in January and it's May, you're probably not gonna be telling me your deepest, darkest secrets. You're probably not gonna be inviting me everywhere. Like, bro, I just met you. You know what I mean? But that phase didn't make me angry, but it did make me sad. The expectations that I had, it didn't work out, and it was an expectation that I put on other people. So I realized it was my fault. It wasn't their fault. I'm the one who put that expectation on them, and I shouldn't have. And that was unfair to them. And that was unfair to me. I did build friendships around that time. I did, and some of those people are still my friends to this day. It wasn't as that guy who everyone calls on type of thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't that, even though I wanted to be that. So after that, I started looking at relationships. That, of course, hopping from one girlfriend to another, that just made me feel used, essentially. That just made me feel used because I did go through the phase of trying to always make things work out and just trying to do whatever she wanted because I wanted us to work out. Of course, what we call that, we call them simps. you know, I went through that phase. So when I started actually looking at how to actually find meaning, or what is the purpose and meaning of life, I started looking deep into philosophical things. And then I ran into something called nihilism. Essentially, what nihilism basically says is that if there's no, supreme being, if there is no God that exists, then there is no objective meaning to life. And the universe doesn't care what you do or who you are or what good you put onto the world. It's going to end. Your life is going to end. That part of my life was a point where I was probably at my lowest. Not the lowest because I've been lower than that before, but at that part of my adult life, I was at my emotional lowest. There is no grand meaning. But then I ran into something else when someone told me, why can't you find that in yourself? Why can't the love and the relationship that you built up over the years with all these friends that you had, why can't this love that you have for your family, why can't all those experiences that you've learned, both bad and good experiences, molded you and shaped you to the person that you are today, why doesn't that have meaning? Why isn't living in of itself purposeful for you? I had to really ask myself that and examine it, and there was no reason why it shouldn't be. So I started to look more into this, and then I ran into the namesake of this video, optimistic nihilism. And optimistic nihilism basically says that, sure, there is no objective meaning. There is no ultimate purpose of life. The universe is going to end. You're going to die. Everybody's going to die. And my great grandkids will not know who the hell I am. Just like I don't know who my great grandfather is. The most I know about my great grandfather was that he was probably part of the Haitian Revolution. I don't know his life. I don't know his name. I know nothing about him. And for my great grandkids, the ones that come after my grandchildren, it's probably going to be the same thing. But that's okay. If there is no grand purpose, the only purpose there is the one that I make. If there is no objective love out there, the only love that matters is the one that I put out there. There doesn't need to be a grand purpose put on me. I can just have that purpose for myself, and that can be good enough. And if we're going to say that it's not good enough, why not? Why can't it be? Why does my direction in life have to come from outside of myself? Why can't I decide my own? Why does the purpose and the meaning of my life have to be outside of myself? Why don't I just have my own? Why does my principles have to come from outside of myself? I can decide those on my own. Why shouldn't I? That's how I reach basically to optimistic nihilism. I don't believe there's anything after this. So the only time and the only life that matters is what I make right now. So I'm going to be good to people today. I'm going to tell my family, my friends that I love them today. I'm going to treat people as well as possible as I can today. We all say tomorrow isn't guaranteed. But the majority of people who say that also believe that after the tomorrow that's not guaranteed, there's going to be an eternal salvation that is guaranteed, or eternal damnation, depending on what you believe. They believe there's going to be something afterwards, either a reward or an eternal punishment. I don't believe that. This is it. This is all I got. So because of that, I need to make sure I'm a good as person as possible, and I make life for those around me as good as possible. So that's why I always tell my family and my friends that I love them, because I don't know if I could tell them that tomorrow. I don't know if I could tell them that in the next hour, and it could be gone just like that, and that's it. I don't believe after I die, you're going to see me again. I believe after I die, and after you die, and after we all die, you will never be here again. So I need to love you and be good to you today. And the thing is, even though people have said that that seems depressing, it's actually made me a happier and a better person, because there is no other chances for me to be one. There's no other chances for me to be a better person. There's no other chances for me to make the world a better place. There's no other chances for me to interact with someone and make their day brighter. So I need to do it now. I need to do it today. That's my thoughts on it, though. I do want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Dark is beautiful. As always, family. Peace.